What up out there, everybody? I'm coming at you here again with another video. And this one here, the topic is going to be in regards to some of the things that I saw in South Colorado and how I started doing some research on my bloodlines. I never did any research in regards to my bloodlines in my whole entire life until I saw those lights out in southern Colorado. And I guess the best way to start this video out is I bought some land out there. I was thinking about investing in some land out there, and so I went out there a couple times to do some research and just check out the land, check out what the weather was going to be like. And so the first piece of property I was looking at was on a private ranch. I think you had to have between 5 and 10 acres to live out there, and it was a gated ranch. So I've never lived in a gated community. I could never afford it, but these places were actually pretty affordable, and so you could invest in the land out there and go ahead and build, as long as you built according to the standards that county was looking for. So basically I was doing my research out there, and I went out to one piece of property, and I remember sitting out there, and this wasn't the one that I actually was going to move out on to invest in, but I remember getting out there, and I remember seeing these same damn lights, right? And I kind of wrote it off the first time I saw it, because I remember, like I said, I'd been told you could see satellites in the sky at night in Colorado, way out in the outback. So I just kind of wrote it off the first time. I was like, okay, well, whatever. And so, and I never felt like freaked out, you know, like scared necessarily. I was just like, okay, those are strange. Like, I don't know what the hell those are. But at that time, I was very determined, and I was like, I'm moving out here. I want to do this organic farm. Like, I want to get into a certain market that was going on in Colorado. So anyway, I ended up looking at another piece of property and actually getting tied into it. So I get out there, and like I told you all in the other videos about how I saw the 3 lights in the sky, and how my dog freaked out and he had to come in for the night and all of that. So pretty much once I started doing some more research and some of the activity that goes on out there, I found a whole plethora of stuff. Like, one interesting fact that I found out was, in the 1960s, if you bought land in that area of Colorado, that it was actually in your mortgage agreement and your loan and everything. It was written in writing that if you saw any strange activity in the sky, that you could not back out on whatever agreement that you had made. I thought that was pretty crazy. Like, how often do you see in a legal contract that if you see any strange activity in the sky above your property, you can't back out on it? And that was all through the 60s. And so the more research I did on that area of Colorado, you can find tons of stuff. Even Vice, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Vice journalism. They go around doing all kind of stories all around the globe, and they actually covered some stuff down in South Colorado. One thing you can look up is lights in the Colorado sky, and what blew me away was everybody seeing these things all over the place down there. So I thought it was really interesting to kind of come across this myself, and then have it kind of confirmed that other people are kind of getting these sightings as well. I'm not sure if it has to do with bloodlines or not, but I can tell you one thing: I never even knew what my bloodline was, never even cared really. Well, you know, unless it's for medical purposes, but I never even knew until I saw these lights. And it wasn't until after I saw these lights in the sky that I started doing research and came across the Rh negative bloodline and found out that they have a higher occurrence of ET interaction. So that was mainly a pretty cool little thing that I found out. I love driving my truck at night. I'm a semi-truck driver, I've told you guys a million times, but I love driving at night because I can watch how the stars, the patterns of the stars, I can watch the sky. I'm always looking for something. I've seen some crazy like shooting stars since I've been driving. Like, I saw a blue shooting star type thing fall down out of the sky. when I was driving, so I catch really cool things when I'm driving, but I haven't seen these same style lights. That's one thing that I really look for, is I'm looking for these lights that I saw in southern Colorado. If you look up lights in the night sky over Breckenridge, Colorado, it's on YouTube, and actually the film, the news, okay, the news caught these lights. And I mean, these lights aren't like all obscure, they aren't what am I trying to say, they aren't skittish. These things were just sitting up over Breckenridge, Colorado. The police are sitting there pointing at them like, what the hell are these things? On the news. So look it up. Look it up. It's a really interesting video to watch. It'll help kind of confirm what I'm telling you about now. Now, I'm not saying I believe in little gray men. I'm not saying I believe, I don't even know that if there was an advanced species that they would need to create vehicles like humans. Humans are the only things that really have vehicles. If you look at any other species on this planet, or any other species period, they don't need like little vehicles to get around. They have ways of getting around without having to find all these different resources and materials and making this crazy little vehicle so they can travel. So I'm not sure that I'm totally sold on UFOs, okay?
I think I'll stay.
But I would say I believe in concentrated forms of energy. I do believe in possible beings that could be, not beings, but entities that can be interdimensional. You know, things that can travel in and out of our dimension. That is scientifically proven to be possible. So I would certainly believe in that. And like I've taken some pretty deep trips down the rabbit hole where I felt like I contacted a few things. I've even put questions out there and they were answered back in their own way. So pretty much, yeah, man, if you're interested in the UFO type thing, if UFOs, what I would just consider just more of just entities, you can definitely look up those videos, and they'll be pretty interesting. Especially the Vice video. Vice put out that video too, so feel free to check those out. But yeah, I just want to share that with you guys about southern Colorado. Really interesting area. If I ever get a chance to save up some cash and get back down there, I might. One interesting thing I noticed was a lot of the people down there are freaking weird, dude. It's like you go up through this little windy road up through the mountains. You go off of I-25 and you go up I-40, and as you go up I-40, you wind through these little canyon, and then when you get into what's known as the Sandy Cristo mountains, it totally changes, man. The people are different. Like, all the neighbors that I met up there were pretty much saving up for the end of the world. No shit. Like, they had their houses built. These fuckers had bulldozers and stuff. They were all into like UFO type stuff. These guys were telling me about Mercury motors and all these crazy little things that they've studied. And that was the first time I met anybody that said that they, as far as for Colorado, a lot of the people you meet smoke marijuana. And so that's the first time I met somebody who was like, no, I don't smoke marijuana. And I was like, well, why? And I had my bowl sitting right on my seat. Like, I've quit smoking marijuana. I haven't smoked for almost a year now. But, and there's nothing against marijuana. I love this stuff. But, like, I've got to go easy on it right now with the industry that I'm in. But it was the first time I met somebody who was like, no, man. He's like, it messes up your aura. And I was like, what do you mean by that, you know? And so he kind of elaborated a little bit and told me about some of the Hindu texts that he was into. I mean, this guy was like pretty intelligent, but he just built his house out in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, hey man, you're too late. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it's already starting to go down. Everything's taking place in the cities. He's like, we've already have our place established out here. He's like, go ahead and go build your house up there. But like, he made it sound like it was going to happen a lot sooner than it is. I mean, that was probably over a year ago. Shit, how long ago was that? About a year ago at least, over that, that I was out there. So yeah, man. And then another neighbor that I met, like, he had his whole family. Like, I met this guy, like, the piece of property that I was looking at, after seeing all the weird shit in the sky, meeting all the weird ass people out there, like, the whole thing pretty much dissolved anyway. But I met this one weird ass neighbor that I had that he said his whole family lived in like a shed up there. I never went to go visit their place, but I mean, I had a pretty big jacked up truck, so I was like, well, I want to go see what this place looks like, good, bad, and ugly. So I went in the middle of January to see what this was gonna look like. You couldn't even get to the property. The county doesn't do any snow plowing up there, so only the people that live there have to plow out their whole driveway to get down this mountain, right? And so I see this little truck like stuck in on the side of the road as I'm going up to try to find my property. And this crazy guy crawls out with his whole freaking family, like kids between like 4 years old and like 8 years old. And he had like 4 of them or some shit. He had a bunch of kids, man. And his wife. And so he crawls out. They've been stuck in the snow trying to plow their way up to their little whatever they live in. And that's when I was just like, man, okay, this place is going to be a freaking handful. And I don't want to have to sit and plow my way out of a giant blizzard just to go to the grocery store. It's just, maybe I'm just too damn lazy for that. So it was weird, really weird meeting these eccentric, strange ass people. Like, and as soon as you get off of I-40, you can come back down I-25. Everybody's like regular Colorado people, man. Everybody's like pretty chill, you know what I mean? Everybody smokes ganja. But going up that way, it was like stepping back in time, and it was like stepping into another space and time. And there's a lot of energy up there. I mean, I think I saw more wildlife, like deer, like, because I was planning on hunting, making all kinds of jerky and stuff. I saw more, there are deer, tons of deer, just right on the side of the road, just all over the place. Aren't even worried about you driving by. So, really interesting part of Colorado, man. Just really, and I've been all over the country. But that area is, what's the name of that damn valley, man? It goes all the way from Colorado all the way to New Mexico. It's not Sandy Cristo, because Sandy Cristo is the mountains. What is the name of that damn valley down there? There's a valley basically that's surrounded by mountains. Like you wind all the way up this road, and this valley's surrounded by mountains, and it goes all the way to New Mexico. And that's where the activity is at. It's like crazy down there. Like there's actually UFO like viewing places or whatever. I saw that on Vice. So I don't know, man. If you're into that, go ahead and Google that or check it out here on YouTube. There's tons of stuff. Look at lights in the Colorado skies. But that is how I found out about my blood type. I didn't even start researching blood type until I came across the Rh negatives were more prone to interterrestrial, whatever, extraterrestrial encounters. So that's when I came across that. I got another story I might share to you guys about when I was a lot younger, when I was only like 5 years old, and we lived down on a farm down in Florida. Now some pretty strange shit happened down there. So for now, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I hope everybody's doing well out there. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, do what you know is right, and I'll talk to you soon. Latest.